Welcome to Living Like Vacation, the show where we live our best life and find others doing the same. I'm Joe.
And I'm Gary.
We're glad you joined us. Let's live like vacation.
Today we're podcasting from the New Bern Visitor Center in downtown New Bern, North Carolina. You can check out their website at visitnewbern.com.
And today we have a special guest, and she's going to teach us how we can live like vacation right here in New Bern. So we're excited about that. But before we do that, we've got to lay down the ground rules. So, have you ever gone on vacation and gotten lost?
Been lost a few times, on vacation and off vacation.
Yeah. It's not fun being lost on vacation, and so today, that usually makes people frustrated.
Very frustrating.
So today we're going to talk about how we can not get lost on a vacation to New Bern.
That's right.
And we're going to have a fun time doing that. So, Gary, will you introduce our guest?
Sure. So I guess we're not going to talk about going over the bridges because I feel like that's what we do all the time.
It can happen. It can happen.
Well, I'm lucky to get to introduce a longtime friend of mine, Melissa Riggle, with the executive director of Visit New Bern. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you both for allowing me to be here and inviting me.
Absolutely.
Let's just jump right into what's been going on lately. It's hard not to notice how busy it's been around here. It started kind of in the spring and then it's gone into the summer. What's your perspective on the abundance of tourism this year?
There's quite a few factors that I think would play into what we're seeing in this uptick in travel, especially in our area. The resurgence in travel is nationwide. That's a trend, and that is post-pandemic. So everybody who was pent up, who couldn't go, who couldn't fulfill their vacation and travel plans, now are doing that, and we're seeing that, and we're capturing a lot of that in our market. The unique thing for us is it started, late March, and Gary, you being in the hotel business, you can attest to this as well. Typically, our peak season for tourism and travel is about, mid-April. We start to, well, not peak, but we start to really see it uptick then, and then by this point in time, we'll start to see the peak. We were seeing this and seeing sold out weekends and record-breaking, sales in our merchants and our downtown businesses and our attractions.
I think like all April.
Early into the spring. And that is very representative of our marketing and promotional efforts that went on through COVID. So we're not only seeing this uptick in these people going out and traveling, but we're getting more than our market share because we were still out there very strongly promoting New Bern and reminding people that we were still here the entire time. We're very much appreciative of this because last year, this time a lot of places were wondering if they were going to have a business and what was going to look like. The travel, the hotels are seeing it, our bed and breakfasts are seeing it, and we're hearing it from our merchants, which is just amazing, and the restaurants too. So, the hospitality industry was hit really hard through COVID, and so we are just welcoming this and getting through, mitigating any of the challenges that are coming from it.
We're back.
There's a lot of people walking around.
There are a lot of people. I mean, even tonight, getting into the downtown area.
Tuesday night, we're running through. Joe's like, what is going on?
What is going on here? It's just normal.
Welcome to New Bern.
Yep.
That's great. That's great. That's great. So what is the role of Visit New Bern in creating and showcasing the demand for this area?
That is what I think is the most critical role for us, is to position us to create that demand. So we position us and poise us as a top destination for tourism and travel, and we find locations, whether it's traveling to places and traveling to trade shows, going to different events, promoting it. We have an agency that we work with that we oversee, the marketing efforts digitally or anything that we're doing on social media. We have a social media manager. Everything that we do is strategically done, and it is to position New Bern as the premier destination in Eastern North Carolina. So that is the role of my team and us here, and we work very collaboratively. We produce visitor guides. We have an amazing website that we use to also as a platform to position and promote ourselves out there. So it's, like I said, that is the most critical role that I think that we play is trying to elicit and create that demand with the tourist. And there's lots of ways we're doing that, and now it is more important than ever to continue those efforts and to strengthen them like we have been doing, because there are a lot of people that are out looking for places, so we want to make sure that we're the ones that they see. We've got the inventory to do it.
I look at a lot of these, my wife and I travel a lot, and we're always looking for somewhere to go. And I try not to compare our town to other places, but even when we're looking on the West Coast at places to visit, the websites don't look as good as what you have done with this. And I think it's just very inviting. I mean, when you look at it, sometimes it's a really cool place that doesn't have a very good website, and it doesn't look as much fun to visit. And so I think, joking around at the very beginning, we were talking about like getting lost. I think it's so important that's sort of like the storefront for the area when you look at it.
It is, and we do our best to feature every hospitality partner as equally as possible. I mean, like you said, some of them do have different assets than others, and have different accommodations and different amenities, but our goal is to position Craven County as a whole as a premier destination. And so all of our website looks very polished. It's very user friendly. We are very image and video heavy on our website because we have, the most beautiful backdrop. So we don't need canned stock imagery and things like that. We can literally go outside and take pictures of our downtown and have the most beautiful picturesque looking
You don't have
website.
to do that focus shot and everything blurring on the background.
You can go out at any time and you see the visitors walking around. You can go to Tryon Palace. We have all of these tourism assets, so putting it together on a website is just not that I'm saying it's easy, but it comes together very seamlessly because we do have these things. And I appreciate your comments, and the website is our pride and joy. We
Gorgeous.
It is nice.
Thank you. And we get lots of comments on it, and just to show you how progressive and how forward thinking we tried to stay with it. I had a long 2-hour meeting today with the agency on what we're doing, an overhaul and changes and how we can
Blueprint guys.
Yes,
Great guys.
they're really great. So they are doing their best as well to partner with us and work with us on making sure that we stay at the top of our game. And so the website is really great, and we all recognize that, but we completely did a SWOT analysis on it and how we can improve it and make it better. So just always trying to continue that forward momentum.
Hey Joe, have you seen the little bear on the website that you can ask questions? Ellie the bear.
I did see that.
She is what will prevent you from getting lost in New Bern.
Yes, look for Ellie. Everybody look for Ellie.
For Ellie. She's on the website.
She's like a walking GPS.
Yeah.
She tells you where to go.
Yeah, she's great.
For all those living like vacationers out there that are planning a trip right now, like what is the one thing that or a few things that trip to New Bern has to entail? Like what do they have to do when they're here?
There definitely be a few things. I couldn't just pinpoint one, but if you're staying here, we have beautiful accommodations, so you have to at least stay a night. That would be the first requirement. If you're coming in, I'd suggest a weekend. Our street cafes. We have this amazing attraction that started, which was a pandemic idea, but it stuck and it was such a big hit statewide that we close our streets on Fridays and Saturdays, and we have restaurants that participate and put their cafe tables and their dining tables in the middle of the street, and you can eat on Middle Street. That's just amazing. So I highly recommend that to anybody that comes to visit. If they're able to come on a weekend. If not, the restaurants have outdoor dining, we have rooftop dining, we have waterfront views, so it's not like you're going to be left out or not have a great experience. Tryon Palace, of course, is probably what we're the most known for, with being the first capital in the governor's mansion, which is always available. It's beautiful grounds. I would highly recommend to walk the gardens and the grounds, take advantage of going into the history center. Trolley tours. You have to take a trolley. I've lived here all my life, and every time I ride on the trolley, I hear something new.
They're a lot of fun too.
A lot of history.
A
lot of history.
Yeah.
They could be making it all up. We wouldn't know.
No, this is true. But I like to hear their take on it. They give their side and their perspective, so it's very cool. There are really great self-guided tours. Right now everybody is really keyed in on the outdoor experiences. That is still probably one of the biggest trends in travel right now, is people finding outdoor assets, whether it be parks, walkable downtowns, or anything that they can do and take advantage of outdoors, which we have all of that. We have these beautiful parks. We've got Martin Marietta that is just in a phase of production and getting built. We've got these self-guided tours that guests can take advantage of that don't require interpreters. You can go at your own pace and leisure. We've got African American heritage trails. We've got Civil War heritage. I mean, just an abundance of things to do for whatever your interest level or affinity. So, like I said, there's not just one thing. So
What's the top guided tours?
Now, don't forget
the Sparks or the African American Heritage Tour.
that one, African American Heritage, has definitely seen
That's a good one.
a
That is a
very.
good one.
It is, and we're really excited. We're actually in the process of developing a new one. From a few weeks ago, we celebrated Juneteenth here in New Bern.
That's a fun
And
event.
the African American Heritage Trail panels that were in the Dryboro and Duffyfield neighborhoods were dedicated and installed. So we are creating a tour around those panels.
So they're going to be there all the time,
Yes.
year round.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Yes, so there's 16 of those, and we're looking at digitizing that tour, getting it available on a QR code so you can pull it up on your phone and walk around with it. And eventually we'll do that to the rest of them, but I'm really excited about that. The Historic Homes Tour and the Nicholas Sparks are probably still one of them.
Sparks.
He is
Praise
still,
God.
he does. He's still
Just
crazy.
keep writing those books and they'll keep coming.
I'm
Yeah, that's
telling
right.
you, it is amazing the people that will come in, and it's just because he is from here. And
He's
they-
living like vacation.
Yeah,
They
he's living like vacation.
people will come and vacation for him. So
Yeah.
we
need to get
appreciate
him
it
on
very
the-
much.
on the show.
One of the things I was going to bring up are the bears. So
Oh.
my daughter has been doing a bear a week. That's something she's been doing. There's so many bears, and so it's pretty cool just to go do the bear tour.
The bear tour is and that is a very popular tour. Thank you for bringing that up. There are 28 in the walkable downtown area that kids can take advantage of, and we've got a scavenger hunt. So when they come in, they get to have all these clues and go find them and take pictures with them. There's almost 86, I believe, in the whole greater area. There's Highway 70 corridor bears. We've got the Publix bear. I mean, we've got them all over. But the downtown bear definitely helps with family fun and keeping kids busy while they're walking around here.
It is good. And I was going to ask you, since you obviously have your thumb on the pulse of all the tourist stuff, where are the secret hidden gem places to go? Like places that were Melissa secret fun places that most people don't think of when they think of coming to New Bern. Like, I didn't know that was there.
Like the places they say, I don't want to go. I want to go where the locals go.
Yeah.
It's really tough because so many of the places that I would promote and recommend are the same places that I would go and eat and take my husband and daughter. So there aren't like those kind of off the beaten path places really. It's what I would probably say to that is that some of these newer locations that we have, like guys that you guys featured last time on the podcast with the beer district, that is huge.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's in the 5 Points neighborhood, which is like starting to be revitalized with the help of those businesses. So that's something going into that neighborhood. We've got Crema Brew, we've got Country Biscuit, Broad Street Takeout is there, and then now these African American heritage panels that are there. So I would say, that's a really cool little area to check out. That's something that's not what you would consider right now on a tourist asset, but it is going to be, and those businesses are helping the anchors to start that and to start to be the catalyst. So I love that. I think the other piece that they're starting to actually get so blown up that I can't get a hold of them any longer, but getting out on the water. That is something that, a lot of people, when they come in, they kind of do the by land tours. But we've got a really great company now that we're working on getting the word out as much as possible at T&G Motorsports, and they have now just added, which isn't as well known, a daily river cruise that's a 90-minute tour 3 times a day.
They've got really nice boats and really
Very
nice jet skis that you can rent.
Now that is living like a vacation.
That
Yes, it is. It's funny you say that. I have some neighbors that just moved in and they rented the boat their first or second week here. I didn't even know you could do that. And they rented a pontoon boat and had a great day.
Have you seen it lit up at night?
I have not.
It was really cool.
Is it really cool?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
So that's a couple of the things that aren't as well known touristy things that we have here in New Bern that I would definitely take advantage of and
Biscuit was definitely my top 5.
biscuit.
Country
Okay.
Biscuit.
I
Oh
know.
man,
Biscuit
she's killing
donut.
it. Michelle, shout out to Michelle. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, biscuit donuts are really
Yeah.
that's Where's that?
Now, some would say that you live like vacation. What are some of your favorite aspects of your day-to-day work?
I love the fact that my job is considered a vacation.
Yeah, people say it all the time.
Yeah, I'm promoting vacations. Doesn't mean that I'm on one. I think for me, the thing is to love what you're doing. The fact that I feel so passionate about New Bern and I love it so much, it makes it feel a little vacation-like. I love being able to talking to guests and visitors when they're coming in and being able to share those places to go and those experiences and then watching them like go out and take it all in. And when we hear back from them about how great their vacation, their time here has been, it's just amazing. It's so rewarding. And when we hear feedback about our visitor guides or feedback about the website and just the positive energy that comes from showcasing what we have and bringing people in. We're also proud of New Bern and everybody that's here and all of our hospitality partners. It does feel, I guess, a little bit like a vacation because it's so enjoyable. I love what I do.
Do you think, because you've done some great roles in this town, you've worked at some of the top hotels. We've been around the circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're the executive director. They don't have you behind
I
the computer
love
too much.
the movement he makes.
I mean, you're not behind the computer. You're still in the scene. You were talking about talking to the guests, and that's my favorite thing when I come out from behind the office and just tell people where to go eat and do things.
It is. Well, I have a phenomenal visitor center team with Tammy Rodriguez and Nabria Fisher. They are always on it when it comes to guests, and they are, there's somebody that walks in and if they're here for the chamber or whatever they're here for, they're greeted right away and they're talking with them. So yeah, they keep me from being able to come out here all the time because they're so, on top of the guest service. There are times when, I'll cover the front, which is just awesome. It just happened on Monday. Tammy had an appointment and I came up here, and those are the good days. I was able to talk with a family of 5 that came in from Maryland, and you just talk with them about how they found out about their here timeshares. A couple from St. Petersburg, Florida, and it's really great. And those are some of the invaluable feedback and data that we get that we're able to see also where our marketing efforts are working.
Sure.
They're like, oh yeah, we saw you here, we saw this. So, it's strategic sometimes, but then it's also just the fun part.
And it's key because that's a Monday.
Yeah.
It's a Monday.
We were swamped.
Yeah.
And we were swamped.
That's
so,
awesome.
It is. And, today I'm calling around. I had somebody that sent a message and needed a room for Saturday night. And I called Gary.
Call me.
We split up our list of hotels and B&Bs, and nobody had availability this weekend. So when you talk about good problems.
It's going to be a busy weekend.
Yeah.
You're going to want to be here.
Yeah. Yep. If you can get here. Yeah.
Yes.
So how do you live like vacation? So you got a family.
I do.
So how do you, in your day-to-day work, do you give yourself a moment where you take a step back and you kind of do a vacation?
I think what I try to do is just to keep everything in perspective and to not try to get too overworked or too upset about the things that are out of my control. Mm-hmm. Once I've started doing that kind of daily, realizing that a lot of things are really out of your control, and just kind of focus on what you can manage, then it really helps to kind of lighten your load daily, mm-hmm. where you feel a little bit less stressed. I mean, I certainly have those days. We have board meetings and all kinds of things and deadlines, and so it's not always fun and just helping guests find great places to eat. There are some days that are have a little bit higher pressure, but reality is it's a job, and the perspective and the priorities still need to be family and what you do after and how you handle that. And so
But what about when you're off the clock?
When I'm off the clock,
what are you doing for fun?
Family time, and I will literally come back downtown a lot of times, walk around, walk the waterfront. My favorite thing to do is to eat out. I mean, I love going to the restaurants, and there aren't places that I wouldn't recommend that I don't go and sit in.
Sure.
So love doing all of that.
Well, you got a baby. A lot of family-friendly places around here.
She goes to all of them. Yeah, she does, whether they like it or not. We're there. I mean, she loves it. She's been to MJ's in Cyprus, and we've done brunch at Persimmons just a couple weeks ago. So the family friendliness is here as well. But yeah, we do that. I mean, we just take time to go on the water when we can. We've got so much here to really be grateful and appreciative for. I mean, there's not a lot of reason to leave. So, I mean, it feels like even when you're off the clock and you're wandering around, I mean, it's always just nice and like very full of leisure.
Now, I've noticed that your husband, John, is an Instagram professional fisherman. Do you join him, or is that just his living like vacation? Is that what you let him do?
That is his own vacation. Yes.
He's awesome.
He is awesome. I will give him that. And he's even had companies that send him stuff and tag him in their things. So I'm very proud of the fact that he does so well with it. But yeah, it's he definitely knows how to live like vacation.
He does.
He does that very well. So I'll take a little lesson from him.
So I mean, you just hit a milestone here. I won't mention what number, but you grew up here. Since that time, for what you can remember to now, what has been the opportunities to live like vacation? Like what's grown? Like what's come up since those years?
So, he's talking about my 40th. I'm not that ashamed.
Oh, okay. So
that's
the
milestone
happy
for
40th.
everybody.
Yes.
So, I've lived in New Bern since I was 5 years old. So I've seen a lot and been able to the growth, the progress, the change has been incredible. It's phenomenal what I've seen the differences. I mean, growing up, we didn't come downtown. There weren't restaurants down here. I mean, this wasn't the place to come. It was a lot of times going out of town.
Oh, you left town?
We did. We went to Greenville to go shopping, or we went to Jacksonville, anywhere else but here. And now I don't like to leave town. I like to find even if it's not in one of our merchants downtown. Now we have Home Goods, and we've got all these great stores, or these, the box name brand name stores. So that growth, the events have been just phenomenal. We didn't have events for years, and Joe, you're a long time New Bernian, and Gary, you're not far behind, but we did not have these live music events. There was, we had a Friday nights, the deck parties at the Sheraton.
That was it.
The DoubleTree, and that was it.
Yeah.
And the joke was always that at 5 o'clock, the sidewalks in downtown New Bern rolled up, and there was nothing else to do, and that was it.
I remember that when I got here.
Yeah.
Actually, the deck parties where you introduced me to my wife.
Yep.
I met my wife at the deck party.
See, some big things did come from that deck party.
They did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's not a negative about it, but it was the only.
It was.
It's the only thing in town. And then slowly some of that started to come in. It wasn't like it was just, bars or places like that. Great restaurants started to come, and we had really great merchants. Surf Wind Fire came years ago. These things just kind of acted again. It was just the spark, and it started igniting all these things. And the communication around town, I think, started to happen, and people stopped working individually and really started seeing when they worked together, and these downtown councils and chambers and all of that working together really were how to be successful. But yeah, even in the 10 years time, I've seen growth. The hotels, our bed and breakfasts look phenomenal. We have innkeepers that have come in and just completely revamped and redone the inside of the rooms. They're top notch or magazine worthy. And these just were not amenities and accommodations that we had years ago. So it's really great. It certainly makes the job like a vacation.
Yeah,
These great things to be able to.
So we're talking like 1,000% growth since you've been up here.
I
would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So what does the next 5 to 20 years look like? Is it going to be more hotels, more Airbnbs, more resorts, campgrounds? What do you think it's going to look like?
I could see a little mix of all of those things. Airbnb and Vrbo are seeing a really strong resurgence with as far as the traffic and the numbers that they're taking in. They are also looking for a lot of hosts, so a lot of incentives to be a host on both of those platforms. Because post-pandemic, people feel very comfortable staying with their families inside of those homes rather than some hotels. Not everybody, but that is some people's cup of tea. So I could see those growing. We are seeing strong numbers. I get the data from the Verbos and the Airbnbs, and they are through the roof as well, sold out. I could see that. I definitely see more hotels coming online. We've got one in the works right now.
Yeah.
There's a need for it. We for a lot of years we kind of sat and we're at our max capacity when it came to hotel rooms. I feel like everybody was kind of posturing for the same piece of business or the same group, and now we need hotel rooms. So yes, I could see that. There's still some opportunities with our growth tourism-wise in not just leisure tourists. I'm putting a strong focus on sports leisure or sports tourism. We've got these beautiful waterways and we're using them for some recreation, but there are large opportunities that we are untouched right now for fishing tournaments. My husband could head them up. Right? Fishing tournaments, kayak tournaments, sailing, paddleboard competitions. There are, if you look at other destinations that have, waterways like we do, they're doing them. So they're out there, and that brings, a lot of exposure, a lot of visibility, people traveling with families. It's also, sports tourism will also include, we just had a big baseball tournament with Babe Ruth series. And, when you have amateur sports, those kids, and you will both know, you're traveling with mom, dad, a grandma, or somebody, to hotels, so it's additional heads on beds. So there's a lot of opportunities there. So I think the next 5 years, it's, we'll continue this momentum that we're seeing now, but it's going to be a lot of finding some additional sustainable resources and assets to continue to grow New Bern.
Are we going to get a resort though? A resort?
That's, you tell me.
I don't know. I'd love to have a resort around here. I was
We've
also wondering.
Resorts at Fairfield.
Oh,
Those
that's
are still-
right. That's
yeah.
also a resort. That's right.
And they've done
That's
a
a
really
great
great
place.
job. We have a lot of visitors that come in from the timeshares and from Fairfield. So that is definitely a very viable option.
Before my parents moved here, they would stay at the Fairfield
Yeah,
resorts.
Fairfield is great.
We have a great KOA over in Bridgman.
Oh, we do.
And I was
KOA is
wondering,
awesome.
is that campground life, because of the virus, is it peaking now, or is that going to continue to grow and people are finding out more about it and they're going to get into it more? Do you think that's growing?
It is, because again, it's all about the unique outdoor experience, and it is even when it coming to where they're staying. And so much so that, much like boats, RVs and campers are high demand right now too, and the inventory levels are low. We've got beautiful campgrounds. KOA, Silver Lake. Both of those are awesome. So, yes, lots of growth, and it's not just with one particular business or another. I think we're going to see it continue to.
I feel like boats and campers are a thing I don't mind being behind traffic, because I like checking them out. I want to look at You're behind the trash truck, you might be like, ooh, stinky, but
those, but then it just makes, because then I'm like, why can't I be on the boat?
Yes.
Where was my invitation? Yes. Why am I going to work or here?
Is Visit New Bern not getting a boat for you?
I haven't, if you could say that to the board, I think that would be really helpful for me. Put that plug in.
Definitely makes sense.
I think it makes sense.
We talked about some of the, resources that we have around here, top attractions. What's the most untapped resource right now?
For my personal perspective, I'm going to say the waterway.
It's the waterway, and that's what we hear in all the meetings.
Yeah, it's from tourists to get access to the water, whether it's for recreation or not necessarily putting their own boat in or launch points, things like that, but actually to get on a watercraft of some sort. And for me, it's also competitive sports and organized events on the waterways. I think those are for what I would say would be the most untapped resources. There's little spots here and there. I think with what the guys are doing and what the businesses are doing in 5 Points, I think there are some places there that could really have some cool trendy things coming.
What kind of things?
I just see that as a up and coming area where we see different artsy type of galleries or exhibits. I could see cool shops down there. It's just we're reevaluating right now some of our wayfinding signage to point and redirect folks there. So we definitely, the vision is to include that into this footprint that we have for our tourists.
Definitely a lot of culture there when you take advantage of.
Yeah, there is.
So many fun things.
My favorite secret thing on the waterway is New Bern's beach. And I know that you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys may know what I'm talking about.
Where is this?
But I sometimes will leave where I live and paddleboard to New Bern Beach. In fact, one day I thought about bringing my beach chair and an umbrella and setting up at New Bern Beach, but New Bern Beach is located right next to Persimmons. The road ends right there, and there's a beach right there. And I've always wanted to take an umbrella or even the shibumi. You put the shibumi up and just sit right there and just be at the beach, and everybody would just be jealous of that guy right there living like vacation right there at New Bern Beach. I think it needs to have a. If you wanted to be the landmark of that, I would gladly take it. You could put a little plaque there. It has my name on it.
Why couldn't that be a podcast location?
It would be a great podcast location. I've always felt, but I have paddleboarded right in there and put my board right there, and I've gone to the galley store and I ate a banana, sat there on New Bern Beach and looked at it for a little bit and paddled.
Did you name it?
I named it New Bern Beach. I don't know what it is.
Pollock's Beach.
I think it's.
Beach.
Well, you could be whatever, but New Bern needs a beach. New Bern needs a beach. You could have beach chairs. You could sit out there.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Jack's Island. Remember when we had the
Jack's Island's another good spot.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
And that, talking about beaches just, sparked my memory too. We're talking about the vision and long-term plans for tourism and sustainability. Martin Marietta is going to be something that is really going to set us apart.
In what way? Like, what's going on?
So right now, not knowing the most recent update, I do know that you can go out there. There's kayak points and fishing platforms where you can go. It's all again public and open. There's playgrounds. There's hiking trails. There's walking trails. The phases are going to include an amphitheater for live events. There will be another beach, so Joe, name something
Neighbor
else.
Beach, okay.
Another neighbor beach. But we are really excited about that because it's going to be another attraction. So when folks come in from downtown or they're staying at the resort at Fairfield, we've got this great park, and I mean it's just this complex that's going to offer so many different levels for different interests. So that I think is going to be something to watch as well.
Will there be somewhere we can put a resort out there? We need a resort there.
Hey, I mean, talk to Foster. City planning right there. So yes. I think it's a great idea.
If someone wanted to get into, maybe a business that's in the tourist industry, what are some advice that you might give that person? Say, hey, I'm wanting to maybe do something down this way. I've been listening to this podcast, and I just stumbled onto this. What kind of advice would you give that person?
The first would be to really know your market. Do your homework. Talk with the merchants who are already there. Talk with the hospitality partners who are in business. Find out what they feel the needs are. Find out where the strengths and weaknesses lie. And then I would highly suggest to play tourist. Go one day and really take it in for yourself. I mean, that research and development, really do it. And, don't announce what you're doing, and just kind of see what you hear and take in and get it real time and get it the organic way. Then I would also suggest to, if you do this, plug in with your community and the community partners. If there's a TDA, get involved with your TDA. Get involved with downtown councils and restaurant councils, and don't work independently or in a silo, because like I said earlier, the recipe for success is to partner, collaborations, communication. So I would suggest to key in and get involved with your community and be visible. And those are, I think, some good steps that could get somebody on their way.
This is like the building of collaboration.
It is.
Chamber, Swiss Bear, and Visit New Bern all on one roof.
All this great little hub, and we definitely take advantage of that. The location is so great. It's so beneficial to. There have been so many times where a guest has come in and asked something, and Tammy doesn't happen to know, or Lynn can stick her head out. She's come out and talked to Lynn, the director of Swiss Bear, and said something, Mumfest is this, or, here if they're asking about how to be a vendor in Mumfest or anything, they're right here. The visitor center, you'd be surprised at what kind of questions that we do field. So it's great that we have these other two entities here, because most of the time we can, redirect them, and they can still get the resources and help they need. Kevin with the chamber and Lynn and myself, we have meetings here, you know, just informally, just to chat about what's going on, so that again, we don't work independently. We're all cohesively thinking and planning, and we know what's going on in our own respective worlds. So this has been a great move and a great location.
Good, good. Well, if you're looking to find a way to live like vacation, give the New Bern website a look at visitnewbern.com.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. And you can follow us on all of our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook. We're also on TikTok. So really great posts and content, videos. Yeah, we're on TikTok. It's
You're
great.
on YouTube?
We have videos on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got the
On YouTube.
great mini doc series that we did for Cypress Hall and for
Oh,
Jarvis
yeah.
220. So,
Those were great.
and those are going to continue. We're creating some more. So yeah, we absolutely will.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This has been awesome. I
Absolutely.
really enjoyed it.
Yes.
You want to go over our sponsors?
You can go over our sponsors. I'll let you hit it off first.
Ooh, our first sponsor of the night, Sundial Watches. Never wind your watch or replace your watch battery. Sundial, the most accurate time in the sun.
Yes. Who couldn't use a sundial
It
watch?
should be very large, wouldn't
It's accurate though.
it? It'd be accurate.
It could be. It's like a Saturday Night Live episode. You hold up this thing. What time is it? And we had, you know, we were so thankful last week for all the comments on the blacklight candles that we had to have them as a sponsor again. So
Yes, they were-
blacklight candles, see what you've been missing with blacklight candles. So thanks again for joining us. Let's live like vacation.